Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel, The Cutest Little Thing, Upcycle with Andrea. I am Andrea, and I thank you so much for hopping on to watch this video today. If you enjoy thrift flips, DIYs, upcycling, home decor, and all of the above, then you are at the right place. I hope that you enjoy this video today, and if you do, give me a like and even share it with a friend who you think will like it too. Hit that notifications bell so you don't miss any future videos. For this project, I'm taking a book that I thrifted. I'm just taking that paper off, and I'm just going to get this painted up and get it upcycled for decoration. This is some junk monkey paint. I had a friend of mine to give this to me to try, and I've used it several times. I really like it so far, the times that I've used it. But this is just sort of an off-white color. Comment and let me know if you're familiar with the junk monkey paint and if you've ever used it. I just went and did 2 coats on this book, and I also, you saw where I was sort of dry brushing over those closed pages. This image is one that I purchased off of Etsy, and I printed off of my regular inkjet printer. And I'm just getting that Mod Podge on to the front cover of the book. Just making sure that image is centered and pressing, making sure that it adheres well to the book. And then I'm just going right over that image with Mod Podge just to protect that image. And it'll sort of give it a little bit of a sheen. This is matte Mod Podge, but it still has just a little bit of a sheen to it when it dries. So I did want just a little bit of sheen on that. So this is just super cute just as is. I just love that little bunny image. Now I'm just taking my air dry clay, and I'm taking just a real thin section, and I am just pressing that over the entire spine of this book. This was a really wide book, and although that was fine, I just thought it would be a good idea to make it look like 2 books were stacked on top of each other. So that is where the air dry clay comes in. I just ordered my clay off of Amazon. I will link that in the description below. I had this little baggie close by, so I just grabbed it to hold over it just to help smooth that clay down where I wouldn't have any fingerprints or anything like that in my clay. And as you see here, I'm just taking this rolling pin and just rolling over that clay, getting it super thin. And then I just took and peeled off the excess clay that was overlapping off of that spine. On all sides, I'm just getting all of that excess off and just taking and rolling again. And I do this several times just to get that clay good and flat, because I don't want it to be raised or look funny or anything. I just want it to look like it's part of the book, of course. And I didn't get it on video, but I did go back and I just picked up the edges of that clay and I hot glued it onto the book. And I gave that time to dry. And now here is where I just had like a thick piece of cardboard from a package or something. It was just something that I had close by, and I grabbed it. And I'm just taking that to make the little indentation in the middle of that spine, just to make it look like it's 2 books stacked together. And I just did that a couple of times just to get it deep enough so that that line would stay in it when it dried. And I'm also here, I'm dipping my finger in some water and just taking that water on my finger and rubbing that clay just to help it smooth and to get any fingerprints out of that clay. Oh, and here this is where I was doing the gluing it down with the hot glue. I would just peel up the edge all around, and I would put a little dab of hot glue and then press it back down, just making sure that that clay was secure on that book. And I actually forgot this step, and that's why I'm just now doing this. I wish I would have went ahead and glued that clay down when I first laid it down on the book, even before I smoothed it out with the rolling pin and everything. I just think it would have been easier to have go ahead and glued down that clay, and I could have still smoothed it out like I did. Now I'm just taking some white chalk paint, and I'm just painting over that clay just so it will match the rest of my book. And I ended up doing 2 coats of that, letting it dry completely between coats. And this was actually my chalk paint in the Waverly, but those 2 colors, the one I was using in the Junk Monkey and this plaster in the Waverly, they are pretty much identical. You can't even tell a difference. Here are some more of those little images that came with that purchase from Etsy. But what I did, I just clipped some pieces of that image, and I cut them in strips the width of my spine that I did, and I just Mod Podged those little strips right onto the spine. And I did 2 separate strips again so that it would look like 2 separate books. And these little strips, they match the little bunny image that we used. It's got like the little red berries and the other designs, but it matches that bunny image. And I just thought it would be a cute little touch to add that to the spine of the book. I did have a wrinkle there, but I just took some saran wrap and balled it up and just smoothed out that wrinkle in my paper that I got. And it got it out just fine. My initial attempt here is I was going to stamp the word Silent Night on the spine of my book. And I did. I went through with that process. But in the end, I weren't quite happy with how it looked. My letters were a little bit too small. And I made a boo-boo with my lettering, and I didn't quite get it straight. And I just weren't completely satisfied with the turnout, so I ended up doing something different. But this was a super cute idea, and I may give it another try when I do more book stacks. But again, I just weren't quite happy with it. I think that's where I was showing you the boo-boo that I made. In my eye, that's right. I made a little boo-boo with that. And I just couldn't get past it. And so I do end up doing something else. But here I'm just going on with some antique wax. And I'm just offloading that onto a baby wipe. And I'm lightly sort of doing a distressing technique with my antique wax. And I do wipe away that excess after I get it applied. And I just go all the way around that image, just making it look more like it's part of the book and not that it's just, Mod Podged on top of the book. Here is another book that I've already chalk painted. I went and I chalk painted the spine and the back red, and I did the front white, and I was using Waverly chalk paint. The white is plaster and the red is crimson. And I just had another really cute image of this Santa that I purchased off of Etsy. And I Mod Podged him right onto the front cover. and I just smoothed that out. And then I had some excess paper hanging off the side, so I just took my sanding block, and after that image dried onto the book, I carefully took my sanding block and sanded the sides, and then I just tore away that excess paper. Now I want to embellish this book, so I had a piece of lace that was the exact same width of that spine. So I just went and glued on, well, I Mod Podged that lace onto the spine of this book. And then I also, well, I made a bow. I was planning to do a little bow in the corner of the book, but I believe I decided to just do a lace little tie on it. After I added the lace, I just thought the simplicity of that lace little tie around the book would be super cute, and I do like how that ended up turning out. And I love that lace on the spine like that. I thought it was super cute. There is where I'm showing you I ended up typing out the letters or the word Silent Night on my computer. I printed that out, and then I cut it to fit my spine, and I Mod Podged that on, and then I antique waxed around that title. And this lace I ordered from Amazon. It had different widths of this. It's like an off-white color. So here I'm just cutting those strips of that lace. And this is where I was planning to do that crisscross bow technique, but there's where I just ended up doing that tie with the lace, and I just think that is super cute and super simple. And I just put those ribbon strips to the side for another project. And I decided to do the exact same lace tie with my bunny book as well. I just love bunnies at Christmas time, not just for Easter or spring. I think they are super cute at Christmas as well, with all the little red berries and garlands and things like that. How cute did these turn out, guys? I absolutely love them. Let me know what you think of these. I will definitely be doing more of these little books. They're great for my booth. These have already sold. They sold really quickly after I got them added in my booth. So I will definitely be doing more of these Christmas books. For my next project, I have 3 mason jars that are all the same size. They were in my stash. I can't remember if I just had them on hand or if I thrifted these or what. But I went ahead and spray painted these just with some regular black spray paint, just to give them, it's sort of like a primer. And it just helps your chalk paint adhere to this glass slick smooth surface. And here I'm just applying Mod Podge all over the entire jar, and I do all three the exact same way. I wanted a bit of crackling technique in my paint, so Mod Podge works really well for me to get that crackle look. And so I just apply this on and I let it dry completely. I go ahead and I do the bottom of my jars as well. I used to wait and do the bottom of my project last, but I've tried to make it a habit to go ahead and do it because it is so frustrating to be complete with a project and then you have to go and do the bottom or either the back of something. So I try to make that a habit for myself. I do like to pick up glass like mason jars when I see them in the thrift store, as long as they're not overpriced. But I can usually get them for 99 cents or less in the thrift store, so I usually will grab them. But you can also just keep on hand your pasta jars, your jelly and jam jars, just whatever glass jar you empty in your kitchen. Don't throw it out. You can just wash it and put it in your stash for your crafts. And they just make the cutest little decor pieces. You can do all kinds of things with them. I ended up doing 2 coats in the plaster color in the Waverly Inspirations, and you saw there how beautiful that crackling technique turned out. I am now ready to embellish these. And I know sometimes I get comments asking how do I seal my projects. I do different ways. It all depends on the project. It depends if it's wood or glass or what kind of material it is, or, it just all depends. But normally with glass, like something like I'm working on right here, once everything is completed, I will use a spray sealer. And I will link that spray sealer in the description. I grab it from Walmart or I order from Amazon. It just all depends what's most convenient at the time. These little picks are so cute. I picked them up from Walmart. They were only $1.28 each. And look how cute just adding one of those little picks to these are. And I end up adding the little foam piece inside just to keep those stable. And that red candy cane stripe ribbon came from Hobby Lobby, and I just cut that in a strip and hot glued around the neck of that jar. And that made a super cute embellishment just in itself, just so simple. And then I cut up some more of that red and white striped ribbon to make these little crisscross bows. I'm using more of that lace that we used in the previous project, and those cute little rusty bells come from Amazon, and I just hot glued those on in the center. And then I hot glued that crisscross bow onto the front of my jar up at the neck. And then adding that cute little Christmas pick. Look how cute that is. And you can use these in your decor. You can use just one. You can use all 3. You can group them together or have them separate. Add them to centerpieces, shelves, just all kinds. And these are really good sellers for my booth as well. And there I just decided to add a little piece of burlap in there. I just thought it added, just a little more to it. It's just super cute. I love the combination of burlap with Christmas garland and red berries. I think it just looks so, so pretty. Look how cute these turned out, guys. Let me know what you think of these, and I will definitely be making more of these. Like I said, the possibilities are endless with glass jars and the decor you can do with them. You can do different colors, different ribbons, different greeneries. And that crackle, y'all, is just too cute. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know what you think of these projects. and I will see you on the next video.